Hello everyone.
Hi everyone. Great to see you again.
Hope you're all well.
And healthy and safe.
And your families are as well.
It's been a difficult time for all of us, so we're very happy that slowly things are opening up again, and we're looking forward to being able to see you all again live and in person.
Exactly.
During this time, you might notice that, some people have gained a little bit of weight.
And Ashley is one of them.
Gained a little bit of weight as well. It's not a beer belly, but it's another type of belly.
There's a bit more front.
That I'm very lucky that in 6 weeks, I'll be able to shed about 8 kilos. So it'll all be gone again, and then I'll be back to normal. So I'm looking forward to that. Anyway, we've decided to choose a topic today,
which is drive action, and which is the fundamentals for for dancing in general, but moving from foot to foot.
So the transfer of body weight, we were thinking, what is a subject that we actually can use, that everyone can use? Doesn't matter if you have 4 square meters of space or whether you're actually doing it in the hall. This is something that you can use on all different levels, which is weight transfer. This is the basics, or the basic of all form of dancing, and especially if we're talking standard and Latin, then we use this in everything.
Exactly.
So we're going to do drive action.
That's it. We will go through, we'll take point by point. When we move forward and have a forward drive action, let me just define first, what is the drive action? It's usually the first step of each figure. And as you also know, it's the step, or hopefully know, it's the step where we move the furthest in the variation.
So within the drive action, we're going to take forward first, and then we're going to take backward afterwards. We have 5 different subcomponents that are used in the forward action.
Yeah. So we'll just quickly go through that, and then afterwards we'll go more into detail. So the first component, and the first thing we do, is we have lower. Second thing we do is we have the resist, which is also the same as use of standing leg. Third point is the control. Control is the center balance position. The fourth one is the push, rolling through the back foot. And the fifth one is the recover of the weight,
where we end up in the same position that we actually started again. So we're ready to do the next. Normally from the recover, you would continue, if it's one of the 4 swing dances, you would continue from the recovery and actually do a swing going into something else, whether you're doing Viennese waltz, or whether you're doing waltz or foxtrot or quick step. It doesn't matter, because you can continue with the swing from there.
Exactly. Okay, we'll go a little bit more into detail. So when we do the first part, the lowering part is not actually that much, the initial part of it. If you notice my knee here, we lower so much so that the knee is in the same line as the front of the toes. That's the first part of the lower.
So what's important to see when Björn's doing it, if you notice what he's doing at the same time, the emphasis is actually on the front part of the leg, which is what we call
the shin bone.
The shin bone.
So this part.
And not actually the bending of the knee, because if you just bend the knee, what actually happens is you kind of sit down and you almost end up staying on the spot, instead of actually coordinating the weight to move forward through a gliding action. So what we want to do is we want to coordinate the body weight going forward together with the lowering action, which Björn will demonstrate with the shin. And then we continue on to the second point. And the second point is resistance.
Resistance is the same as I mentioned before in the quick review, is that we use the standing leg. And the resisting part of it is the back thigh. We have the body weight that's moving forward, and for us not to fall from foot to foot, we need to have something moving in the opposite direction, which is the resist. So the feeling from the standing leg is we pull back, because that's the back muscle, or back thigh muscle we use, and when we then move forward, the body weight will move in a forward direction.
So as Björn mentioned before, if your teacher's telling you, or if you've heard many times, I need to stay on the standing leg more, or I need to use it for longer, more time on it, then it's this action, the second point in the drive action, which you need to focus on, which is the resistance, which is when you actually are on the foot, that position, whoa, to create the resistance in the movement as you start moving.
A good practice method is, or a good idea to do, hold yourself on the back thigh, make sure this is toned. You will realize the most, let's say, the natural thing is that you relax this part, that you only go forward.
And normally people use the front of the thigh.
But when we move forward, it has to be the back part. You have to tone that back thigh as you move forward.
Then we continue into the next position.
So I do, from here, I tone the back thigh as I move forward.
And then he lands in a position,
center balance, which is the control position.
Control position, and we call it either center balance, or some people say split weight. It's all the same thing. The thing that's important is that you can see that from the side, looking with Bjorn's legs, he has his body weight in the middle of his legs. Let's say the legs slightly outside the body.
Important thing as well, if you look at my front knee here, the knee has to be behind the heel, or on the same line as the heel. We do not want this movement. We want the heel, or the knee, sorry, to be behind the heel.
So you feel very clear, so that when we're together, and if we were dancing it together, that we could actually stand in a position where we're together. Of course, it's difficult to see because I have a big bump, but this is how it should be so that it's a smooth action.
I will do one more time.
So then we continue from the third, which was control, and now the next one is called push. And the push, we like to think of that it's a bit more of a roll. What you should see is from the back foot and feel is that you roll yourself, you push yourself from the back foot, which creates a very stable gliding action or smooth action going into the last phase, which is recover. One more thing that's important.
If we take one more time from here, it's important that we coordinate the front leg and the back knee. So we go more bent through the back leg, and we go from the front leg, we go more, it's not that we straighten our leg, but we have more of a pulling action now from the front leg, so the legs go.
You almost feel like there's a suction cup between both of the legs, a suction cup that helps both legs be pulled together. So it's not only the front leg that's being used, it's not only the back leg, but you're actually using both legs at the same time to be able to use it.
So if we show that one more time, so I stand in this
center balance position,
which is the control. I push here, so I roll through the back foot. I coordinate the legs here, so this happening at the same time I move forward. When we arrive here, we have the last part, which is the recovery of the foot. One thing that is really important when we do a forward drive, and this is the same rule for forward drive and backward drive action, is we recover the foot and the body weight at the same time.
So it's not, this is very important, it's not that from the control position that when you're pushing from the back foot that you tip the head forward first and then you recover the foot afterwards.
It's very important that this has
That's why the coordination between the new
movement as we move forward. Again, I'm going to straight leg. Now, of course, normally if we did a natural turn, I would stay down.
Yes. So those are the 5 different actions or subcomponents that we have going forwards. And now we'll continue with the backward action, which is very similar in reference to the subcomponents, but of course it's different because we're going backwards with it. Here we have 6 different actions when we go backwards. So if we go the same way, I think it's better. Yeah.
Yes. So the first part is the prepare part. Is I flick, some people call I flick the foot back. It's a flicking of the foot. What is important is when we flick, that it's not, I don't lift it, but there's constant control. And
from the ball of the foot all the way to extreme toe.
And there's no weight on the foot. Yeah? Every time we have extreme toe, there's no weight.
The reason that this point is so important, and it has to be within the backward action, is because, of course, when we're dancing together, the person going forward, as soon as I start with my lowering, which will be the first action, if the person going backwards has not prepared the foot, then our knees are going to clash and they'll both be going towards each other. So as human beings, our knees only bend one way, they bend forwards. We can't bend the knees backwards when we're going backwards. So therefore we have to have this preparation, and this is also, if you look at Bjorn, what happens
What's important is that the knees
are more or less in the same line, so that there's space now when we both do the next action, which is lower, there's actually space for both of our knees to continue.
Yeah. So if, again, we do the first part, we prepare. Now the second part, we lower. Similar thing to what we did in the forward movement. I lower until my knee is in line with the front toe. Now from here, I'm going to do the resist. Resist part, going backwards, is the front of the muscle I use.
Because of course, again, it's the resistance.
This room when I go back. One thing that's really important, if you notice my knee on the left leg here. So I've done prepare, I've done lower. From here, my knee does not go more forward. My knee moves backwards, back, 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 back.
So again, what we're speaking about the whole time is it's about coordinating the body weight together with the moving leg or the standing leg, in actually both legs together. So this is what we want to have. In order to create a smooth action for both the person going forwards and backwards, it has to be coordinated together.
And we move
moving backwards. Now we land in our third position, and the third position is our control position, which is exactly the same as what we had going forwards.
Again, knee behind. You notice
knee
the
behind the heel, flat foot on the front, up on the ball of the foot of the back one, and then of course
and then
from here,
the coordination from here. Yeah?
When we start with the push, we'll do one more time, and the push happens this time from the front foot, back.
From there. Now from here, my knee backwards here goes forward, and the front one goes more towards straight. Doesn't straighten, but it goes towards. So when I go back, this part here, I'll hold my balance on. So when I go backwards here, the coordination is standing foot is lowering just as the foot recovers, which is the last component as well, going backwards, is we recover the foot. The same as what we explained in the forward movement. Foot and body weight recovers at the same time as we go backwards. Very important.
If you just take one more time from the push, I just wanted to make sure that was very clear. That when we're going backwards now, the coordination between the back knee that bends slightly so that we actually can push from the front leg and without doing push where we jump onto the back leg.
The pushing part of it is more like coordination of the legs, the knees, of when, let's say, we transfer the weight. The better we are, the more smooth it should be as we transfer.
We have, a good way of putting it. You can either put it to a foxtrot, or of course you can also put it to a waltz. Find a song that's really slow that you can actually do it to, and normally we do out into the drive action, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we collect again on the 5, 6, 7, 8. We thought we would just show you one time. Björn can just do it twice forward, twice backwards. And we will show.
We will have the DJ find the music.
It's here now.
You're with me now, someone
okay, so we move forward first.
And I'm scared, yeah, I'm still scared.
5, 6, 7, go.
That is
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's the forward movement. And of course then we do the other leg as well. Yeah? Backwards. We go from here.
Even the worst ones, you make me smile.
1, 2, 3,
I'd stop
4, 5, 6,
and gave us time.
Yeah? So, this you can practice yourself. You can practice in the living room, or you can practice at the studio. At least this was some tips from our side, and we hope you're gonna use it and practice well on it.
Yeah, for sure. So whether you have a lot of space or whether you don't have a lot of space, hopefully it's something that you can use all the way through. We've used it all the way through our career, so it doesn't matter what level you're on. The best thing to do is trying to make sure that you can get it together. Of course, this is phase 1, where you do it by yourself, and then afterwards you can try and do it together with your partner, as soon as you're allowed to be together with your partner. And then you can actually start practicing that you have this gliding, smooth action together. So when you're actually 2 people dancing together, it looks like it's 1.
That's it. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thanks, guys. And we look forward to seeing you again as soon as possible.
See you.
Bye.